I'm sitting with Karolina Zmarlak, who is our featured guest speaker at our Lady Drinks event on September 12th. Lady Drinks is headed to Fashion Week. Karolina, thank you for being so generous and being in conversation with me on that day. You know what I think is most interesting about your background is that you're Polish born, you hail from the communist era of Poland, and really truly where you kind of got your design ethos is from your mother.
That's right. When I was very young, from my very young girl days, watching my mom put on her clothing, I always kept thinking, how in the midst of communism, where everything that other women were wearing that looked like a uniform, how was my mom able to really get, a sort of difference in her look and stand out? And that's from a very early time. I realized that she would find fabrics, and she would find, either through someone in our family or through a friend, a seamstress to work with. And really that idea that is such a luxurious idea of made to measure existed in my world in the midst of communism through my mom, having a unique personal expression of herself through her personalized seamstress.
Yeah, and we're going to learn so much more about your story in depth on September 12th, of course, so I don't want to give away the farm right now. But I do want to talk about the fact that a lot of folks, I have a lot of designers in my contingent, and sometimes where the breakdown is between the creative side and then becoming a viable business. What did you do that was like really smart in being able to make that happen for you?
So ultimately, in my case, I was lucky enough to win a competition and get an opportunity to work with a startup that was a young fashion company that was created within a very small team. So I got to really observe the launch of a fashion company, and other than the actual design and development of ideas, I had to really observe and be part of and make some of the decisions that had to do with marketing the product, with selling the product, and also some of the hardships of how do we produce? What's the amount to produce? And so watching all of that and having the responsibility of making some of these decisions with a very small team was definitely a very key learning process. And, till this day, I will say, get partners involved, because as a team, you can do so much more when it comes to business.
And that really dovetails nicely into my final question, which is that we're going to be at a space called Flying Solo. And Flying Solo is a fashion incubator amongst many things, but it speaks to this power of the collective. It's a place where many designers have been able to come together, including yourself.
For sure. So Flying Solo started about a year ago. We actually partnered with them a few months ago. And my purpose in joining Flying Solo was to really be part of this community of designers. As a young designer, we're constantly competing with these big mega brands in the world that have huge budgets, that advertise, and that are really within this sort of conglomerate of big business. And so as a young designer, you're always thinking, how can I compete with that? And I think that's part of the story of Elizabeth, who started Flying Solo. That she was frustrated within the same sort of system and said, as a collective, we can do a lot more with our voice and our strength. And that's exactly what's happened. And so, since I started with Flying Solo, I've gotten to really meet a ton of designers. We share in some of the positives and the negatives of both the design process as well as the business. And as a voice together, we can be heard louder and really do things financially that maybe on our own we could never do ourselves with the budgets or the financial restraints that we had. So it's been a great process, and I'm excited to build with the community.
Well, it's a really special space, and I'm so excited that this really speaks to our ethos with Lady Drinks and trying to build up other business women, of course. And so we're going to be there on September 12th. It is a Tuesday, and I'm going to be in conversation with Karolina Zmarlak about her journey, as well as Elizabeth. I think she's going to be there as well. She's the founder of Flying Solo. So until then, we're going to see you.